Have you ever felt like someone stopped valuing you even though you haven't changed at all? As we get older, this feeling shows up more than we might expect. Friends don't call like they used to. Family stops asking for your opinion. Even small things like someone forgetting your birthday or not noticing when you go quiet can leave a deeper sting than we care to admit. But here's the truth. Your worth doesn't disappear just because someone else can't see it. And you don't need to shout, argue, or beg for anyone's attention to prove it. In this video, we're going to walk through 7 simple but powerful tricks older adults can use when someone stops valuing them. These aren't about playing games or getting even. They're about shifting the way you carry yourself so others naturally begin to see your presence differently. From quiet changes in how you spend your time to small but bold ways of pulling back your energy, each of these tricks is designed to help you reclaim your power without saying a word. Stay tuned until the end, because you'll discover one particular mindset shift that not only restores your self-respect, but might completely change how others respond to you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and tap the bell. This channel is for people like you who are still learning, growing, and becoming even stronger with age. Let's get started. Number 1, pulling back your energy quietly. One of the clearest signs that someone no longer values you is when your presence starts to feel optional to them. They reply slower, they cancel plans without apology, they stop asking how you're doing, and the natural instinct is to try harder, to call more, to explain, to ask what's wrong. But here's what wise people do instead. They pull back quietly. Not with anger, not with drama, but with calm, quiet dignity. You stop initiating every conversation. You stop offering help where it's no longer appreciated. You let the silence do the talking for you. This isn't about punishing the other person. It's about giving yourself space. Space to remember your own value without needing them to confirm it. People notice when energy shifts, when the person who always showed up doesn't anymore, and in that space, they're left with their own thoughts. That's where realization can start. Psychologically, this taps into a very old truth. What becomes less available often becomes more valued. When you stop giving so much, you interrupt the pattern. You shift from always there to strangely missed. Let me tell you about Carl, a 72-year-old man who had been helping his neighbor picking up groceries, fixing little things, even watching their dog. One day, the neighbor started acting cold. Short words, no thank yous. Instead of confronting him, Carl quietly stopped offering help. He didn't complain or sulk. He just focused on his own day. His walks, his puzzles, his own garden. 3 weeks later, the neighbor knocked saying, "You doing okay? Haven't seen you much." Carl smiled, nodded, and kept the conversation polite. But he never returned to overextending himself. That's the trick. When you quietly pull your energy back without bitterness, people start to feel your absence, not because you forced it, but because they had taken your presence for granted. And whether or not they come back, you've already won, because you stopped chasing someone who couldn't see your worth, and you started remembering it for yourself. Number 2, start valuing your time like it's gold. Time becomes more precious with age, not less. Yet when someone stops valuing you, one of the first signs is how casually they treat your time. They show up late, cancel last minute, or expect you to wait around with nothing better to do. But here's a truth many older adults forget. The more you respect your own time, the more others will. It starts with small decisions. Stop rearranging your schedule to fit theirs. Stop saying yes out of guilt. Let them see that your hours matter, that your presence has a cost, and you're no longer giving it away so freely. Think of Tom, 78, who used to babysit for his grown son 3 times a week. He loved his grandchildren, but the late-night calls, last-minute changes, and lack of gratitude started to weigh on him. One day, he gently declined, not with anger, just with a simple, "That doesn't work for me anymore." At first, his son was surprised. Then slowly, he began planning ahead, calling in advance, and thanking him more sincerely. Tom didn't lecture anyone. He just made his time feel valuable again. And that changed everything. When you begin to protect your hours like you would your money, people start paying attention. They learn that your time isn't something to take lightly, and that if they want to be in it, they need to show up with care. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, do something just for yourself daily. When someone stops valuing you, it's easy to forget how much your own opinion of yourself matters. You might stop doing the things you used to enjoy, or put your needs last because it feels like no one's paying attention anyway. But here's the quiet truth. When you begin to treat yourself like you matter, others slowly start to follow suit. This doesn't have to be grand. It can be as small as taking your morning coffee out on the porch and enjoying it in silence, just for you. Maybe you start painting again or go back to the walking trail you stopped visiting. Maybe it's something as simple as putting on your favorite shirt, even if no one is around to see it. What you're doing here is sending a signal, not to them, but to yourself. You're saying, "I'm still here. I still count." And that shift in how you carry yourself, it ripples outward. I remember Frank, who was 81 and had lost his wife a few years earlier. His children loved him, but they'd stopped calling often. He felt forgotten. One day, he decided to start making Sunday dinners again, just for himself. He lit candles, played old jazz records, and cooked meals he used to love. A neighbor happened to stop by once, then again. Eventually, those dinners became a gathering spot, and Frank found his joy wasn't just returning, it was drawing people back in. You don't need to explain this shift to anyone. You just need to begin. Because when others see you treating your life like it still holds meaning, they're reminded that you're not fading. You're blooming again. Number 4, stop explaining yourself. One of the easiest ways we give our power away without realizing it is by constantly explaining ourselves to people who've already decided not to listen. You say why you're hurt, why you're upset, why you need what you need. But when someone no longer values you, your words don't land the same. They pass through the air without weight. Here's the shift. Stop justifying yourself. You don't owe an explanation for needing rest, setting a boundary, or saying no. You don't have to prove you're worth being treated well. The more you explain, the more you shrink, because you're asking permission to feel what you already feel. There's something incredibly strong about a quiet, steady decision. When Eleanor, age 75, told her younger sister she wouldn't be loaning money again, she didn't list the past times she had. She didn't explain the stress it caused. She simply said, "No, not this time." That silence after was uncomfortable, but it was also powerful. It was the moment Eleanor stopped defending herself and started respecting herself. When you speak less but mean more, your words carry greater weight. You don't need to yell. You don't need to argue. You just need to let your choices stand on their own. And here's the irony. Once you stop explaining, people often start listening. Your boundaries begin to sound less like requests and more like truths. You become someone who doesn't ask for respect, but expects it. And that shift can quietly change everything around you. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, change the routine they expect. People often stop valuing you not because they dislike you, but because they've grown too used to you. When you always answer the phone on the first ring, always say yes to favors, always sit quietly through someone else's monologue, they start to see those things as normal. And that's the problem. What's expected becomes invisible. The key then is to gently interrupt the routine. Do something just different enough to catch their attention, but not in anger, not in revenge, in awareness. Think about it. If you always call first, stop calling for a few days. If you always accept invitations, decline once or twice. If you always listen but never speak, start sharing your thoughts. Even if they feel small, these are not punishments. They are reminders. Reminders that your presence is a choice, not a guarantee. Take Margaret, age 79. For years, her daughter would drop off the grandkids, talk for 5 minutes, and rush off. Margaret cooked, cleaned, helped with homework, but felt more like a background prop. One day, she didn't answer the door. She'd gone out, just for herself. The next week, her daughter came early. She stayed longer. She asked how Margaret was doing. What happened? The routine broke, and in that break, space opened up for her daughter to see her again, not just as a helper, but as a person. It doesn't take grand changes to shift dynamics, just small intentional changes that say, "I'm not here on autopilot. I'm here by choice." And when people notice the difference, they often begin to appreciate you in ways they forgot how to. Number 6, be kind, but with strong boundaries. Kindness is a beautiful strength. It builds bridges, heals wounds, and shows the world that you haven't let bitterness take root in your heart. But kindness without boundaries, that's where pain often begins. Especially as we get older, many of us were raised to give, help, and serve without asking much in return. And that generosity can become a trap, one where people stop seeing you as a person and start seeing you as a convenience. Here's the trick. Don't stop being kind. Just stop being available in ways that cost you your peace. You can say, "I care about you," and still say, "No." You can offer help and still protect your time. Being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. It means offering warmth from a place of strength, not obligation. Take Harold, age 80. He had a neighbor who often asked for rides, small errands, and favors. At first, Harold was happy to help. But over time, the calls became constant, and the thanks became rare. He began to feel used, not appreciated. So one day, he kindly said, "I'll be happy to help once this week, but I won't be able to do it regularly." The neighbor paused, but surprisingly, respected it. Harold still offered kindness, but now on his own terms. This is what boundary-based kindness looks like. It doesn't shut people out. Invites them in, but only to the space you've made available. It protects your energy while still offering light. And here's something people often forget. Boundaries actually strengthen relationships. They remove resentment. They create clarity. And they teach others how to love you in a way that doesn't leave you drained. If you're kind but exhausted, helpful but resentful, it may be time to realign. You deserve to give in ways that feel good to you, not just in ways that make others more comfortable. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 7, say less, but mean more. There's something quietly powerful about a person who speaks less, but carries depth in every word. When you feel undervalued, the natural instinct is to explain, to convince, to argue for your worth. But often, the most impactful thing you can do is simply let your actions and your calm speak for you. When your words are few but intentional, people start to lean in. They notice what you do say, and more importantly, they feel what you leave unsaid. Clara, age 76, used to be the one who smoothed things over in her family. When tensions rose or plans fell apart, she'd send long messages trying to fix everything. But it wore her out. One day she stopped explaining and simply said, "That didn't feel right to me," and left it there. No lecture, no convincing. And surprisingly, that one short sentence had more impact than anything she'd written before. Why? Because it was real. It came from someone who no longer needed to justify her boundaries to be heard. Saying less isn't about shutting down. It's about standing tall. You don't need to defend your decisions to those who keep questioning your worth. You don't need to fill the silence just to make others comfortable. Instead, let your tone be calm. Let your words be simple. And let your presence carry the message that you know who you are, whether they see it or not. This approach won't make everyone treat you better overnight, but it does change the energy you bring into every room. It reminds others that you're not desperate to be seen. You already see yourself. And often, that quiet confidence is what draws others back into seeing you too. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on the 7 simple but powerful tricks we've explored. Which one stood out to you the most? Which one do you feel ready to start practicing in your life? Maybe it's the silence that speaks louder than any explanation. Maybe it's guarding your time more carefully, or doing something each day that reminds you of your own worth. Whatever it is, just know this. You haven't lost your value. It might have been overlooked. It might have been taken for granted, but it's still there. Sometimes it only takes one small shift, a pause, a no, a new routine, for others to wake up and remember who you are, and more importantly, for you to remember it too. We'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you learned today, and how do you plan to bring it into your life this week? Your stories, your reflections, they're not just valuable to us. They're valuable to the entire community of people watching and growing alongside you. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.